Zach back here again for Down South Racing, and today I got something pretty cool. It's not very often, have I seen at least, a 2018 EcoBoost Mustang with a 10-speed auto that's tuned. And this just so happens to be my cousin Tanner's car here. You've seen it on the channel a couple times. We've done a couple things to it, but he recently, at least, put a Unleashed tune on it by Tori, is his name for Unleashed. And this car is a 10-speed auto, and we all know what a difference the 10-speed auto car makes. And see, I used to have a tuned 2015 EcoBoost Mustang with a 6R80, and so Tanner's car has a JLT intake, a resonator delete, and Corsa Sport mufflers on the back, and so it sounds good. It's got the little blow-off delete thing, so your blow-off valve vents straight to the atmosphere. It is a little bit dirty because it's been raining today, but this was kind of the only time he and I could both get together to do this video, so we're going to make it happen. But I'm going to give you all my driving impressions. It's also lowered on Steeda Sportline springs, if you can see. I think they're 1.25 inches all the way around, and so it's a really good looking car. This blue is very pretty, and so we're going to get into it. All right, guys, so as y'all know, this car has a 2.3 liter i4 turbocharged 4-cylinder EcoBoost motor. Here's his JLT intake that he got, so it's quite a bit larger intake tube, especially than the stock one. I think it's over 75% larger. Here's your mat that connects up, your big dry filter there. So here is his little atmosphere, his blow-off valve vents to the atmosphere right there, and so that's what gives you the when you let off. There's a video about it on the channel. These turbos are right there wrapped in that big heat shield, and so these cars run pretty good. This year they bumped up the torque on the stock cars to 350, about 30 pound-feet. Still makes 310 in stock form, but his car is tuned along with this intake and resonator delete with Corsa Sport mufflers, which is a 3-inch exhaust. So my old EcoBoost made 300 wheel horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque to the tire, so this should be very similar, up just a few thanks to the resonator delete and mufflers in the rear, but very, very similar. So you say, I mean, probably this car probably makes about 310 to the tire versus stock. It makes about 310 to the crank. It's tuned on 93 octane for now. He's got a few mods that we'll get him to tell you all about when he's gracious enough to let me drive it around and do a review for you all. So we're gonna hop to it. First, I'm gonna get him to start it, and we're gonna get a quick listen, and then, you know, because it's pretty deep, you know, these EcoBoosts, you know, a lot of people rap on them, I guess, or, you know, kind of because they're 4 cylinders, but they sound good in my opinion. They're a very deep sounding 4-cylinder. They're not crazy, you know, ricey or anything like that. So I think they sound good, and I think he has a very nice setup on it because he still has his stock catalytic converter in here, and so you can see the cat right down in there. And so, you know, his car's not like stupid loud by any means, but it's pretty loud actually, and it sounds really good. So I'm gonna get him started up. So you can hear just a little bit of turbo whistle. So there you can hear just a little bit. We don't want to rev it up too high because we're in a park right now, but you can hear his blow-off valve vents right there to the atmosphere. His intake sucks the air. It sounds pretty good from the front especially. All right, guys, what's up? We're here driving. This is my cousin Tanner. He's very gracious enough to let me drive his car. It is your baby. Yeah. This is the first car you've ever bought on your own. So we're not going to be crazy in it, but he does trust me because I do drive a Mustang every day, and I did have an EcoBoost just like this before his, and I got to say, this kind of makes me miss my old car. Don't get me wrong, I love my 5.0, but he and I were talking earlier, I mean, for a daily driver car, you cannot beat one of these because they're so torquey down low, and they get such great gas mileage. I mean, he's averaging over 23 miles per gallon right here, and he doesn't exactly not beat on it, but I mean, like right here, just, you know, that's the 6th gear, and I'm just barely on it. It just pulls so hard between 2,500 and 4,000, 4,500 really. And his tune actually is, you know, it helped it out a lot because I drove it when it was stock, and it wasn't sluggish by any means. The 10-speed auto helped this car out tremendously. Let me put this down so y'all maybe see me a little better. But, you know, like, I mean, it shifts very well. It doesn't gear hunt too badly, although you can notice it a little bit sometimes. Like, sometimes you'll kind of get on it and it'll downshift and then downshift and then maybe downshift again. But like, normally how I drive these cars is I put them in sport, like we're going up a hill right now, and so it'll just stay in whatever gear we're in. So like, we were in 6, I downshifted in 5th with the paddles. I mean, this car pulls hard, and it sounds good. Handles even better than it sounds, though. These lower end springs did you some good. So they are 1.25 inches, right? Yeah, 1.25 inches in the front, and then we got 1 inch in the rear. Okay, sweet. So my fault when I was going around, I thought it was 1.25 inches everywhere, but got a little car in front of us. So we're just taking it on a little back road cruise. clicked it and it didn't, like I'm on part throttle. Now watch. It's like almost like a 1.5 second delay. So I don't know if that's engineered in, because you know my 6R80 car shifts. I mean, it's pretty much as soon as you hear it click,
it's in gear.
Now this car does shift very well though. I mean, like right here is third. We are in Mexico, thankfully, out here on this back road drive, but shifts extremely firmly. Just like maybe not quite as firm as my old Eco. It literally like was crazy.
You could hear the crunch.
You could hear the clutches slipping. Like it would go. It was stupid. I think it honestly slowed the car down because it would spin when it would shift. But I mean, like we're going through some curves right here. I mean, his car doesn't even roll, and he's on the stock 255 all seasons for now because he's been doing a little research as to how wide of a tire or wheel setup he could go in the front, especially being so low, kinda. And so he did find out that he can run up to 19 by 10 on, you know, without a spacer. He could run a 19 by 11 with a spacer, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so he's gonna be doing some more mods. And so what else would you want to do? You just want to do a wastegate,
actuator,
so
step coulter plugs,
yeah.
And definitely an intercooler.
Definitely an intercooler. So all that, he should pick up another, we say 30 wheel, probably 30, 40.
Yeah,
so
probably a 30.
This car could be making almost 350 wheel, weighing about 3,600 pounds thereabouts, because it's a base car with a 10-speed auto with 350 wheel and well over 400 pound-feet of torque to the tire. This car's going to scoot along. So I mean, I don't think you'd have any problems on a decent tire going high 12s at all.
No.
I mean, maybe even a little quicker, but I mean, like right here, it pulls well, and that's not even all the way on it because we're in some curves right here. But this car's so much fun. Like I'm watching the boost gauge right here. It goes up to 24 just as soon as you hit it. But like, see it downshifted one more time right there. Woo-hoo. It gets it. No worries there. It's such a surprise to everyone, isn't it? That it's a 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Like I remember in mine, I'd tell people it's just a 4-cylinder, and then, like I'd do a pull, and they'd be like, "There's no way. What is it? A twin turbo V6?" And I was like, "No, it's a little 2.3 liter 4-cylinder." And some people would even get out and be like, "Let me count the plugs." I have shown them. So I mean, but I think your car sounds perfect for one of these. I think they get a little bit ricey when you do a catless downpipe. Now, obviously, if you're trying to go as fast as you can, you gotta have a catless downpipe. But I mean, he's got a 3.5 inch actually resonator delete, don't you?
Yeah.
And he's got 3-inch Corsa mufflers in the rear, and so they're the sport mufflers, so they're not like the extreme. They're not just straight through. But like, if you roll the window down just a little bit, I mean, you can hear it, but it's not gonna deafen you by any means, and that's something that I really like myself. It's already pretty loud with the Catless X and the Roush mufflers because they're straight through. But this is something that you can appreciate. Mine's kind of on the limit. A 5.0 with headers is kind of, way too. It's just a loud noise at that point. I'm sure Tanner would agree. But we're about to turn around and we'll give you some more impressions on the way back. But this one is steering into sport now here. Like we're just gonna blast here for just a second. It's like we're in third gear right now. Back end kicked out on the shift. That's how hard it shifts. So that's pretty crazy. It's really fun though. Car brakes well, even though it does only have 2 piston brakes. Like I said, it's 3,600 pounds. It's plenty. Now, when he gets his upgraded wheel and tire setup, this car is going to be a back road monster. It already is. I mean, like if I kind of clip the other lane right here, this is to the floor going through corners. That's pretty impressive. Not every car by no means can do that. Now, the steering in these, S550 Mustangs, I'm going to make a drive here for a second while let it cool down, let a little bit cool off so you can hear me talk. But I mean, the steering on Mustangs, it's electric, and so it has different modes. So like we're in sport right now, which is pretty stiff, but you know, you can hit the button down here and you go into comfort. I mean, it's perfect for driving around town. Again, you know, this is the perfect kind of daily driver because you have options, and that's what a lot of people like. You know, the newer generation of cars like Camaros, Corvettes, you know, that you can adjust the steering way. Now, nothing will ever compare to hydraulically assisted steering in terms of feel, but this is pretty good. Now, I personally, you know, always keep my car in sport because my car has lighter than stock wheels, and so it's, even in sport, it feels about like the old normal. But you know, this car has stock wheels on it, so it weights up very nicely. Again, the braking feel, you know, like just barely got to press on the pedal in these cars. That's one of the first things that just about anybody who ever drives my car, at least, and I'm sure this is the same way, says is, wow, these brakes are really good. And you know, it really is true. We're doing 55 right here through this corner that says 20, and the car's not even having to try. Then you just give it a little gas and the turbo spools up. It's so hilarious that it just, because it can downshift so many different times. I love the 10-speed, man. I think it's pretty awesome that the cars have come this far.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have ever thought that a car would have 10 gears in it and shift like these do, but still be able to just, I mean, you can put it in drive, just cruise just like this, and not have to worry about anything, honestly. And that's pretty impressive. You know, there's a lot of guys taking the new 10-speed in the 5.0s at least, you know, twin turbo cars making almost 1,000 wheel horsepower on the stock engine and transmission. That's pretty impressive. Now these blocks right here, they actually are forged from the factory. They have forged internals, the EcoBoost do. So there's been people take them up to 550, 600 wheel before they'll kind of break, but you know, a safe number is pretty much, you know, 450 and below. You can beat on them pretty well. Now, you've heard the stories of Eco Boom. That's possibly from people maybe lugging the engines along in higher gears and stuff like that. When you have a turbocharged direct injection engine, you do not want to leave it in the highest gear it can be in and lug it up a hill. It's called TPSI. I forget what it stands for, but it causes it's just too much strain on the transmission and the motor, and things do not go well and stuff like that. But guys, just to wrap up my thoughts about this car, the EcoBoost Mustang platform, I think, was a smart move by Ford. I know a lot of people miss the V6, and you know, it does sound a little better, but this car's faster. It takes mods better. You get more gains out of your mods. It gets better gas mileage. It's quieter going down the road. And I mean, you can pick one of these cars up, well, brand new, by the way, well below $25,000, and you can hurt a lot of feelings. You know, Ford did a lot of engineering with the S550 Mustangs, at least, to refine kind of, and on the GTs at least there's a little bit of a complaint because they're too quiet. But for 2019, you can actually get the active exhaust option on the EcoBoost Mustang, and so it's going to sound pretty much like a Focus RS from the factory. And that's something that's, you know, well known for sounding very good. This, like, again, this is the perfect daily driver because you've got plenty of power. Nobody needs 1,000 horsepower by any means. Now, you know, there's adrenaline junkies who like more and more power, but I mean, this car has 300 horsepower to the tire, more or less. You know, it's a little bit of an estimate. He hasn't had on a dyno, but maybe watch out for a future video. We might be getting some legit numbers on them. But you know, you can take from mine, which has the same motor, and it had an automatic transmission with basically the same mods, actually a little bit less done to it. This car also has a throttle body spacer, I forgot to mention earlier, which doesn't really add a whole lot of power, maybe a little bit of throttle response, and a lot of people claim that it gets a little bit better gas mileage. It doesn't, because it's just a little bit more air. But like, we're going over these bumps right now real slow because we're in this park, and this is kind of where we were just shooting the video. We thought it was going to be a little quiet, but there's actually quite a few people here. But again, this car is perfect. You could buy your 16-year-old daughter this car and she would be fine in it. You can also be an enthusiast driver, you know, someone who knows how to drive pretty well and still have fun, because I mean, Tanner is a national champion motocross racer, right? Yeah. So I mean, he used to race some of the fastest dirt bikes on the planet at crazy speeds, going through forests and over jumps and stuff like that. And you know, it would have been a disappointment to him if he would have bought this car. He would have said, you know, if it was a disappointment. But you have a lot of fun.
Oh, I enjoy it.
I mean, it's like, I mean, again, guys, like you go back right here to his, I was watching his boost gauge, and he's averaging 22 miles per gallon still, and we've been beating on it all day. Go 400 miles on a tank of gas on one of these cars, and you can still, you can pull up on somebody. I really think this car will be close to a really stock 5.0.
Yeah.
I mean, like really, really close. It's very, very impressive. But man, I really appreciate you letting me drive it.
No problem.
And I've had fun, and so I'm gonna give you all my final thoughts right here. But guys, if you can't afford a 5.0 or for some reason, or you know, a V8 Camaro or a Challenger, take a serious look at one of these, because they are a blast to drive, and your insurance is cheaper, and you spend less money on gas. So it's a win-win-win, literally. So seriously consider it, guys. I think you all would enjoy it if you can't afford the other ones. Even if you can, and you just don't like that for some reason, like you don't like the noise of a V8. I know that's a dumb statement to say, but some people really just enjoy a quiet car. If you just want a quiet, nice car to drive around that's easy to drive around, my grandmother could get in this, his grandmother could get in this, and they could drive to Florida and be perfectly fine in it. I mean, the visibility is the same in all of them, but you know, these new Mustangs, I mean, you can see there's hardly any blind spots at all, unlike the Camaro. But oh well. So again, guys, incredible car. You know, pretty cheap for what they are. Awesome transmission. Very good motor for what it is. The only thing my gripe about all kind of EcoBoost engines is they run out of steam up top. And now his tune helped that a lot, but to get, you know, like a traditional turbo feel, you have to go big turbo on these cars, and so that way it pulls all the way to the red line. This turbo runs out of steam about 5,500 RPM, and so, but what's cool about the 10-speed, he and I figured out, if you shift at 5,500 RPM, this car has 315 gears in it. It never drops below 4,500, so it's always in its sweet spot. So we honestly think it might be faster like that. We've yet to kind of see. But because, you know, you got to take into account, even if you leave it in a lower gear, it's making less power, you're still producing more torque because of the transmission, the gear ratio. So be something cool to maybe test out one day. But guys, I'm gonna give you all my final thoughts. Appreciate Tanner letting me drive this once again. Again, guys, really fun car to drive. You know, obviously you can see it's just as beautiful as any other Mustang. It's got the, you know, 19-inch wheels. It's got the wheel and stripe package, although me and Tanner might not be the biggest fans of this here stripe, but the wheels especially, you know, look good. I mean, these look just as good as any wheel that comes on the Mustangs. You got the, you know, somewhat at first controversial 18 front end, although I have grown to like it very much so. You know, you got these pockets. It just looks very sharp and very angular, you know, versus like my car's a 17, and it can look a little plain, I guess. You know, S550 Mustangs are, in my opinion, the best looking Mustangs yet. And at first I think everybody just didn't like the fact that this changed so much up here in the front, especially. Now I think the back looks awesome with the new diffuser and taillights and stuff like that, deck lid. But now the front, I mean, it's a love or hate kind of thing, but it definitely grows on you, and I think pretty much anyone could admit to that. So I'm telling you guys, you should seriously consider one of these if you can't, if you for some reason, you know, can't afford a V8 or anything like that. This car hurts a lot of feelings, trust me. I had one. I know several guys who were astounded at how fast mine was, and this one is even faster thanks to the 10-speed and his exhaust and stuff like that. But he's going to get a revised tune, do some one-step colder plugs, and maybe a wastegate actuator here very soon, because those are pretty cheap mods. And so we're going to have to revisit that, but we're thinking if we can here soon, we're going to try to take his car and maybe Jared's car and my car to the dyno before I put my new mods on, just to see, you know. And again, dyno numbers are somewhat irrelevant because any dyno can, you know, you can manipulate it somewhat to make a number higher or lower. But, you know, be something cool to do. And so stay tuned for that, I guess. But guys, again, really awesome car. I really appreciate Tanner letting me drive it. So please subscribe for more videos like this. We put out a video just about every other day. Sometimes, you know, there's a couple days in between. Some days we put out multiple videos in a row. But I do have a lot of cool stuff coming in here. Let's see, what's today? Wednesday. Should be here Friday. And so I'm really excited about that. You know, I've been waiting to do all these mods for forever. My injectors already came in, and so headers, intake, manifold, and lockouts should be here Friday for sure. So I'm going to try to get all that put on this weekend. I'm going to try to go up to Lee Blankenship tuning next week, but if I can't, I'm just going to say screw it, sorry. But I'm just going to get a Palm Beach dyno tune, because from what I've seen, I know you've done some research too.
They make some good numbers.
They make some good numbers, and so they roll out very well. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Comment down below if you have any questions at all about this car. I can answer just about any, and if I can't, I can always ask the owner right here. And so follow him on Instagram. What's your name?
Roman Phipps.
Yep. So I'll put it on the screen right here. So if you want to see some pictures of his car, follow him. I'm sure he'd be thrilled to answer any of your questions if you have any. But guys, until next time, peace out. Have a great day.